The tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid itself in order to flout the Maharaja's will. So it was not at all easy to find that tiger. It was as if he had purposely hid itself away to flout means to disobey the Maharaja's order, the Maharaja's will, his wish. The Maharaja was equally determined, equally as equally as the tiger. The tiger was hiding away, so was the Maharaja determined to find him out. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. So, this determined was he that he refused to leave the forest until he found that tiger out. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury is anger, and obstinacy is his uh, determination. Obstinate is zid. So his obstinacy mounted alarmingly, that he was being very, very obstinate, determined that he would find the tiger and then leave the jungle. Many officers lost their jobs. Now, because his mood was bad, again, this is a satire. This is a satire of the writer on the conditions prevailing when a man in power is in bad mood, then the subordinates suffer. So here it says that many officers lost their jobs. Why? Because he was unable to find, Maharaja was unable to find the tiger, the 100th tiger. One day, when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. So one day, when he was extremely angry at its height, when his anger was at its maximum, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. Forthwith means from now on. Earlier he had said that for 3 years all taxes will not be applied, and now he was so angry that he says that double all taxes. What will now happen to the astrologer? The state astrologer also was worried. Do you think the prophecy was indisputably disproved? So this here is a question. The 100th tiger is not being found. So if the tiger is not found, then who is going to kill him, or the tiger king killing the tiger? So was it indisputably disproved? Means there was no one on the other side for the dispute to be proved. Dispute is what? A fight between two people. Enmity between two people. Indisputably disproved. Without the enmity, without two people being there, it was disproved. Whereas the astrologer has said that if you're able to kill the 100th one, I will do this and that and leave the work of an astrologer and become an insurance agent. So here, if the tiger is not there, then where is the dispute and how will it be proved? So do you think the prophecy was indisputably disproved? The people will become discontented. Then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. So all of this, the Maharaja is also thinking that people will become discontented, that the tiger king could not find the last tiger, the 100th tiger, he could not kill his tiger, and then the Indian National Congress would take over the kingdom of Pratibandhapura. In that case, you may resign from your post, said the king. So he's telling the Diwan, if all this happens, then you resign from the post. The Diwan went home convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results could be catastrophic. What is catastrophic? Very, very bad, very problematic. Everything will fall apart. So he felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. So he had he had brought a tiger from the People's Park in Madras and he had hidden it in his house. Now he felt life returning, means he found the answer in this tiger when he saw this tiger. At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car and shoved it into the seat. Dragged, pulled it to the car, and shoved it, pushed it into the seat. Somehow just pushed it in. The Diwan himself drove the car straight to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. Satyagraha Satyagraha was this movement that was done by Gandhiji, in which they were like it is a dharna that they sit on. Or here the writer is saying that it was like the tiger launched its satyagraha. He was refused to move. He refused to follow whatever that was being expected of him, and he refused to get out of the car. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted in his efforts to haul the beast out of the car and push it down to the ground. Haul it out means to somehow push it out, pull it out, and drag it out. And so that exhausted him, made him totally tired. On the following day, the same old tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. So, this tiger was left where the Maharaja was. And the next day, the following day, it wandered, means just walking around. It went in the Maharaja's presence and stood there as if in humble supplication. Supplication is as if he is joining hands and standing there asking for something very humbly. So, Master, what do you command of me? Again, the writer is making it sound so funny that the tiger would just go in front of someone who would kill it and just ask that, what do you command of me? It was that as if the tiger is asking, what is it that you want of me? It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in a crumpled heap. So, boundless means endless. Happiness that knew no bounds. Joy that knew no bounds means it was too much. He was very happy to see the tiger right in front of his eyes. And he took a careful aim at it and shot at it. And he saw the tiger fall in a crumpled heap. I have killed the 100th tiger. My vow has been fulfilled. The Maharaja was overcome with elation. So he's very happy, elated. He's very happy. He's saying, finally, I have killed the 100th tiger. My vow, the vow that I had taken, it has been fulfilled. The vow that he had taken as a 10-day old baby also, and then later also, that I will kill the 100th tiger. He says he is very happy that he was able to fulfill that. He is able to kill the 100th tiger. Ordering the tiger to be brought to the capital in grand procession, the Maharaja hastened away in his car. So he just told them to bring it to the capital in a grand procession, and he himself went away, hastened away in his car, quickly went away. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. Bafflement? What is bafflement? When someone is totally taken aback, surprised, is bafflement. Confused, a state of confusion is bafflement. So he is totally confused at what has happened to him. And these people have gone close to the tiger to take a close look at him, and the tiger too is looking back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. The men realized that the tiger was not dead. The bullet had missed it. So the bullet had missed it. The Tiger King had not been able to kill the last tiger, the 100th tiger. It had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past. Whizzing past, going swooshing past the tiger. So he had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past, the sound. So he had just fainted, he had not died. The hunters wondered what they should do. They were thinking what to do now. they decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed his target. So they decided to hide it from the Maharaja that he had not been able to kill his tiger, the 100th tiger. They could lose their jobs. One of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. So they decided not to tell the tiger king that the tiger was not killed by him, and one of them just went a foot away and shot the tiger and killed it. This time he killed it without missing his mark. Then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. So a huge procession, a huge group took it down in a very joyous way, and they took it to the town and buried it there. The tomb was erected over it. A few days later, the Maharaja's son's third birthday was celebrated. Until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. He had said that until he doesn't kill all the 100 tigers, he will not do anything else. So he married for tiger. He married a girl who belonged to such a state that had many tigers in it, and he also had a son. But he did not really spend much time with his son or do anything with his son. So, until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. He had no time to spare for the crown prince. Crown prince is the son. But now the king turned his attention to the child. Now, this was his third birthday, and now he turned his attention to the child. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. So what did he try go and look for? He went to the shopping center in Pratibandhapuram and searched every shop but couldn't find anything suitable. He could not find anything that he could give to his crown prince. Finally, Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. Obviously, he was totally, uh, completely obsessed by tigers. So, when he saw a wooden tiger in a toy shop and he had recently fulfilled the vow, completed the vow that he had taken of killing a tiger. So he was attracted towards this wooden tiger that he saw in the marketplace, and he decided to gift it to his son. He found it as the perfect gift. The wooden tiger cost only 2 annas and a quarter. Anna is a currency and a very petty one. So he says it cost only 2 annas and a quarter, but the shopkeeper knew that if he quoted such a low price to the Maharaja, he would be punished under the rules of emergency. See, again a satire here. The writer is trying to show how everyone is so scared of people in power and always thinking that what would happen to them if the man in power becomes angry. So he says that the shopkeeper did not quote the low price because he is scared to be punished. So he said he gave him a heightened and increased value. Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is something that is made beautifully. So it is a rare example, it is a very beautifully made piece. A bargain at 300 rupees. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday, said the king and took it away with him. So he was very happy. Just few annas, a wooden tiger that cost just a couple of annas was sold to the Tiger King for 300 rupees. So, how much was that for? 2 annas and a quarter. A wooden tiger that was worth 2 annas and a quarter was sold to the not sold really, because it was taken away as an offering to the crown prince on his birthday, but the money was increased and told. And how much? 300 rupees. So the Tiger King said, let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday. and took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with that tiny little wooden tiger. It had been carved by an unskilled carpenter. The shopkeeper had said, what did he say? Rare example of craftsmanship. But actually, it was carved by an unskilled carpenter. Its surface was rough. Tiny slivers of wood stood up like quills all over it. One of those slivers pierced the Maharaja's right hand. So the shopkeeper had said that it was a rare example of fine craftsmanship, whereas it was made by a carpenter in a very rough manner. And what had happened? The surface was rough. Tiny slivers of wood stood up like quills all over it. So tiny shavings of wood, which pierced, one of those slivers pierced the Maharaja's right hand. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. He did not pay much attention to it, and he just pulled that sliver out with his left hand and kept playing with the prince. But what happened the next day? The next day, infection flared. Flared means spread in the Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days, it developed into a suppurating sore which spread all over the arm. Suppurating is what? It is wound full of pus. Suppurating wound full of pus and sore. Sore what? Painful. It was. It had swollen and it was very painful and it was full of pus. It spread all over his arm, all over his arm. 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras. After holding a consultation, they decided to operate. So his condition went so bad, the infection spread so badly that they had to call 3 famous surgeons from Madras. And they decided that they needed to operate on the right arm of the Tiger King. The operation took place. The 3 surgeons who performed it came out of the theatre and announced, theatre is the operation theatre, and they announced the operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. So there is irony here. They say the operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. So they are saying they were successfully completed the operation, but the Maharaja is dead. So it also means in this manner the 100 tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So the operation of taking, we can take it as the operation of taking revenge was completed and the Maharaja is dead. The writer may mean this, or that the Tiger King thought that his operation of killing the tigers was completed, but it was not really so, and the Maharaja is dead. So with this, we come to the end of this long lesson. I hope you all understand this. And in case there are certain places where you have a confusion, you can always ask me in the comment section at the bottom, or I'm always there for you. You can always talk to me, ask me if there is any confusion anywhere. Thank you, children.